All right, everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me. Thought I would take some time out this evening to do kind of a live one because it's been a while since I've done a live on Cartoon Daily One. And then two, I also thought to myself, it'd be kind of cool to actually do a little bit of drawing live. And while I normally do this on sometimes on TikTok or sometimes on Instagram, I thought to myself that it just made more sense to actually do this kind of thing, you know uh, you know on YouTube instead of always elsewhere on TikTok. So again, for those of you who have not, if you have not yet, please feel free to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And we'll have time doing our thing on this evening. Again, like I said, I really I really probably should do this a little more often. But here we are. Tonight, I'm actually going to be, reviewing some things that I've learned today as it relates to color that I learned from some other fellow artists. So right now, I'm just kind of doing a little bit of studying and research. But in the meantime, this is just kind of a cozy period of time where I'm just also just doing random doodles, and it's something I try to do during the weekend. I'm using a iPad Pro 11 inch, and the software program I'm using is Procreate. Most of the time, I'm always drawing my comic strip, and of course, this is just me doing just random doodles and things like that. Now, by the way, what would really help me a lot is if you subscribed and hit the like button as well, and followed, and that would be great. This is just a kind of an example of some of the characters, and you know some of the characters and some of the kind of characters I draw. So over the years, I've gotten pretty good at drawing like this. And it's funny because back when I first started drawing, like for example, my main character, Walter from my comic strip, he actually looked like this. Like he had no had no top of head. And this is what he looked like. And I thought I was doing good back in the day when I drew my character like this. But I mean, it wasn't bad for, for when I was starting off. I mean, I had to start somewhere. Um, and I am grateful for that period of time that I actually, you know, self-taught myself, and then I, started studying other artists and learning from them and understanding, oh, okay, so this is probably how I should improve my style if I'm gonna do any kind of cartooning, that kind of thing. Um, I have like a bunch of other it, I have a bunch of other drawings as well that I've done here. In fact, I recently uh, with one of my comics did like a whole story arc where my main character was kind of a wingman for his friend Dylan. So here's Walter here, and then there's Dylan, and they're they're trying to Walter's trying to encourage Dylan to go ahead and talk to the one girl that he likes, and just all these like middle school kind of like stories. So of course, I'm what I think I might also try to do is share more of my comics here, more of by and by and all that, which of course you can read on Webtoon and things like that. And what I'll try to do is remember to put to my um, links to my Webtoon uh, for all that kind of thing. But yeah, like I said, thank you for joining me. For those of you who are watching, I guess there's three watching right now. So one, I'm honored. Thank you so much. Like I said, feel free to hit the like button. That helps a lot. Please feel free to also follow. It's crazy. I'm at like 409 subscribers. I've been kind of stalled there for a while. Um, and it's funny because I've been at this for a few years. Thank you so much. I've been at the whole YouTube thing for a few years and then I stopped, which was, note to self, don't do that. If you're gonna do YouTube, just push forward, just keep going. It is hard. But then it dawned on me, life is short, so why not get out there and try to do something with it? Of course, I'm like I said, this is just different characters and things like that that I try to come up with. And sometimes if I just if it's a Sunday evening like this, it's like Sunday evening my time right now, here in Dallas, and sometimes I just like to just randomly doodle and come up with just different characters. Now, again, like I said, that was Walter from way back when, but um this is how I'm drawing my main character now. This is me just doing it like incredibly fast. Well, probably too fast. I need to remember I am here on YouTube to have fun. so so that is Walter. What often helps me when drawing him is to remember that his head kind of has like the shape of a like light bulb almost. so that helps me a lot. And of course, ain't Walter without his spiky hair. So there you go. Let me move my character out the way. Here. There we go. Oops. There you go. Program I'm using is Procreate, and I'm drawing on the iPad Pro. This is the M2 or M3, one of the two, and it was a while back given to me as a gift. So I said to myself, well, I better put it to good use. Um, I am self-taught drawing, and it's something that I'm always learning something from other artists. So that's my whole thing. Um, Also, again, feel free to follow. Trying to get to really, I'm kind of starting off with a small goal of 420 subscribers, and then hopefully I get to 500 here soon. Uh, this is my main character, Walter. He is 11 years old. He has ADHD. He is autistic, and he is in sixth grade. And this is roughly, roughly, this is who he is. As I draw super fast. I try to distinguish all my characters, of course, with different types of shirts. And of course, Walter's shirt has like this black ends on the on the sleeves and on the end of the shirt. And so that is our dude Walter. And then there's also his best friends in the series, and one of them is Dylan. And Dylan, Dylan basically looks a lot like one of these guys, and so I'm gonna try to actually draw him instead of accidentally drawing like the same character that same doodles I just did up there. And of course, the nose looks a little bit. There we go. There you go. The nose is so funny because to help me draw the fingers, I got a lot of inspiration from like years and years and years of watching the Fairly Odd Parents. And so, that helped a lot. And then the nose, I kind of got a lot of inspiration from the Loud House on. So like that was my inspiration with designing some of the characters. And then you have the characters that I'm drawing now. uh, a lot of that inspiration is actually from the comic strip Big Nate. And so this is Dylan. His last name, the way his last name is Randall Mill, and the way that I got his last name at the time I was living in Arlington, Texas, and I said to myself, it'd be kind of a cool last name if his last name was Randall Mill, because that's one of the name of the streets in Arlington, and so that's cool. So also, by the way, I think that I don't know if the chat is even on. I'd be kind of surprised if it wasn't. Hmm. So, but it's all good. I don't often do these lives, and I should do them more. Feel free to also to leave a comment, and also again, I'm seeing some likes already, so I appreciate that. And because usually when I draw, Dylan in his shirt, it's like a stripe down the middle, and then when I color it, usually the color of the shirt is like green. Both of them are 11 and are in sixth grade, and together they try to survive middle school and all things they're in. So, so yeah, so you can only imagine the craziness. So I mean, also I'll continue drawing. In fact, I think what I might do is actually color a little bit of this as well. By the way, if you are on Instagram, um, you can follow me on Cartoon Daily One, and I'm also there on TikTok. I'm still, trying to grow that. So there is that. The comic strip as a whole, I've been working on it for quite a few years. I want to say since 2011. But like I said, Walter looked like this in 2011, and now it's 2026. I like to think that the new iteration of Walter looks way better. So I got 3 likes. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, please do not hesitate to follow, or rather subscribe. I got a subscriber. Thank you so much. Highly appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Man, this is encouraging me. This is inspiring me to actually to do more of this kind of thing. So that's cool. Um, all right, so I have those 2 characters, but then I also created another character in the strip, and his name is Ace the Fox. And Ace is, of course, a anthropomorphic character of mine, because what middle school doesn't need a random fox that often gets into all kinds of like crazy trouble. Like this fox, Ace, is the kind of character that Walter would see at school eating from like the trash can, or doing some kind of crazy stunt, or getting Walter into kind of like crazy drama and whatnot. And of course, the thing about it is that Ace is actually really cool. But I'd always describe Ace as kind of the embodiment of Walter's wild side. Um, you know, and already in the strip, Walter gets to be what I felt like I didn't get to be as a boy. And so with Ace, the Fox, and Walter, when I write their stories and they team up, it's always drama, but it's goofy, dumb drama. Like they get into enough schemes to create for good storytelling. So that part, the hardest thing, drawing it is already a challenge, which but it's a fun challenge. It's just difficult to sometimes write, because I mean, and I've been writing both professionally as a journalist, and then also as a cartoonist for a minute. But there, it's always if you're inside your head, sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge. So don't be inside your head if you can help it. We're all trying to learn, right? And again, I got like 5 people watching right now. So thank y'all so much for watching with me. I guess I don't know if the chat is working right now. I'm looking at and y'all like I'm actually looking at the feed right now from here too. So if you're watching, great. And again, feel free to comment as well or leave a comment. And I'm usually very good at responding and reaching out to people who comment and things like that. And I try to keep a friendly vibe when I do it. I almost forgot about giving Ace a tail because, yeah, of course he has a tail. Um, I do the little lines here, kind of the show texture of the tail, and a little bit of that was inspired from regular show, believe it or not. Like one day I saw Rigby, and I was just noticing the character Rigby and the way that Rigby was designed. I was like, wait a minute, I probably need to add a little texture to Ace's tail. So that's kind of a thing. And then, of course, if you notice a little bit of the tufts of hair here, and again, this is me just kind of doodling out the characters like in the fastest way possible. Because if you look at my comics on Cartoon Daily or on Webtoon, you'll see. Let's see. Oh, you'll see that I give a little bit more love to the more time, more love to the characters, even here when I create the comic. Um, and there's, of course, a lot of just crazy humor that, between Ace and all of them. Like here, Walter's about to go and talk to a girl that he really likes and that he found out that actually kind of likes him. And of course, Ace is like, I would wait till tomorrow to talk to Amy. You smell like anxiety with a hint of body spray. So, so one thing about Ace and his character, and even Dylan and Walter, just like the characters together, the way that they interact, it's funny because they're boldly honest with Walter. They're incredibly honest, but they're cool. They have enough of a relationship where they could be that honest. Um, let's see. So then you have these characters. Okay, have you heard that Procreate is coming to PC and Mac sometime soon? Yo, one. I have not heard. I wish that they would. And also, Wes, it's so good to see you, man. I'm so glad that you're on with me tonight. Uh, so wow, I am honored to see you on live tonight. If not, but for a minute. So, yep. Thank y'all for being on. Hello, hello. So good to see you, sir. So good to see you. I'm gonna start calling you Dr. West. Cause man, all right, y'all, there's a guy on Instagram. And he and Wes is amazing. So if y'all see him in the comments, make sure to follow him. Um, I try, man. Thank you so much. That's the thing. It took me forever to get this fluid, like because I drew a lot as a kid, but then I stopped right around like my high school-ish years. So that had to be 99, 2000. And then I picked it back up during my college years, incredibly rough. And well, yeah, during my college years, and then right to about 2006 when I was like started working and I graduated with my undergrad in journalism and things like that. But thank you so much. I wish that Procreate would come to not just iPads and the Apple world, but also to the PCs. I think that everyone would benefit from it, even the Android. Like I wonder if they could pull that off. And thank you so much. I have so much, like I said, I have so much fun drawing these characters. Thanks so much. And of course, there we go. Yay, I actually entered something in the chat. so, so that's good. That's good. All right. And y'all, like I said, I don't usually do the lives on YouTube often. So, one, I am incredibly glad that we're making this happen together, you all. So that means a lot. Then there's the lady of the strip who honestly I'm gonna have to really study more how uh and of course I have nieces and others who would definitely be able to help me out on this. D Collier 8941. Hey family. Abel said that's so cool. I am honored. Thank you so much. That is a high compliment, and I appreciate that. Wes, I agree with you. It's hard to beat the simplicity of an iPad. I couldn't agree more. Because the thing is that when I started when I started drawing, um, it's crazy because my first like drawing tablet was actually the Windows Surface. And when I started using the Windows Surface, because one, I didn't really have the money to be just getting an iPad, much less one that had, pencil features. But it really was a great experience using the Windows Surface. And then once a few years later, life was continuing to lifen, and my money got a little better. That's when I was able to, get myself an iPad that I could do like things with the Apple Pencil. Um, Now, for those of you, like, let's just say that if you don't have an iPad or if you can't afford a tablet of any kind, there's a lot more affordable tablets out there. But let's just say you don't have it. Don't feel bad. Just start with paper. Start with your sketchbooks. I can assure you that it will bless you to start, sketching and this. Like, there's a reason I have a ton of pens and pencils and things like that. And then this is almost like an office tour. And then I got like a bunch of art books, graphic novels, things like that, comic book collections, and I have a ton of my sketchbooks up here. I like to think I don't have a problem, but I don't think I have a problem. So, have you tried to draw the strip away from home? Asking as a person stuck to an old Cintiq. Excellent question. So, I have here my iPad Mini, and so and let me stop here real quick. I'm gonna finish drawing Anita here in just a moment, and I'll share a little bit of detail about her. But I actually usually will do one of two things. Um, I didn't know that I had this turned off. I had my iPad Mini turned off this whole time. Sometimes I try to give this tech time to rest. I'll sometimes draw the characters and draw my comic strip when I'm away from like my iPad Pro. I usually leave my iPad Pro here in my office or just at home. Period. And then I'll do like some sketches. I'll do sketches on either my iPad Mini, and if I know I can't finish a comic at home that certain day, I'll send the file over to my iPad Mini and finish the comic from there. And this is often the result of that. And granted, it's a smaller screen, but it really is handy, and I never had a problem with it. And by the way, I don't get all my Apple stuff sometimes brand new, you all. There's this thing called used, and used is just as good. Amen. Because stuff's expensive. Amen. If you can't say amen, say ouch. so, so I have a sketchbook that I use here. This is my by and by thought and planning sketchbook where I go through like kind of how I want to like create a strip. And sometimes I'll brainstorm and I'll even experiment with angles and things like that because I'm still trying to learn how to, have, different angles and different types of shots where you can see downwards middle from top down, or when you have just other, moments. Like, for example, my wife made a really good point, and so I did this sketch where Walter is wearing a football helmet and he's holding a laptop and multiple books. And the point that she was making in art is that you don't want to just tell, you want to show. Like it's funnier that if you show instead of just tell. So, and which that was, I mean, she made a good point. It helped me out. It really did. And sometimes if I'm like trying to practice the many different faces of like my main character Walter, I'll again do all of that here, my sketchbook and things like that. Sometimes I'll even um, you know do my writing of the script of the comic from within. Um, but this sketchbook, where I'll do my brainstorming, is also kind of where I introduce a bunch of the characters. I haven't even, it's so funny, I have not introduced Wayne yet, but Wayne is another character that I created, that's a part of a thing that I call the Tech Scouts. That's a whole story for another, well, not really for another day. Basically, he's another character that I created that I plan on introducing later in the strip. I've just been having a lot of fun, telling other stories with my characters. That's all. So I'll do that soon. Now then, Anita is another character as part of the team with Walter, Dylan, Ace, and then you have Anita. And the thing about Anita, Anita's interesting. She's named after one of my favorite singers. That y'all probably could easily figure that out. And Anita is a very energetic, but very kind of, you know, straight shooter, tell it like it is, character amongst the group. She often reminds Walter and Dylan and Ace how crazy they are, and how they need to calm down from time to time. They need to chill out, because sometimes they find themselves in some harebrained scheme, and Anita is like, "Yeah, y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too much, but it's fun to watch. So I'm gonna pop some popcorn and watch y'all do the most." So that kind of thing. So Anita is really chill, but and she, as part of the grander part of the story goes, Anita has known them for, well, really, honestly, they've known each other right from where Dylan introduces Walter to Ace and Anita. There's a whole backstory to that I've kind of created, because from the beginning, Walter didn't have any friends. And then he runs into these other kids, and this quirky group of kids get into various misadventures, that kind of thing. All right, then. Let's see. It's 27 minutes. I am in here at 7 likes, which I'm exceptionally happy about. And I see. Oh, look at that! I'm earning them subscribers, which I'm so excited about. And I'm also happy that I got some family and friends that are in here. So that's on the chat. What questions do you all have before I decide to potentially? I don't know if I'm gonna wrap up yet, but I am you know, seriously considering. Oh, this is a little bit of, y'all are getting like all the background behind the scenes. Look at this. So Dylan, I decided that later he would also have brothers, and so I guess this is me introducing the brothers to you all for the first time ever. This is Dylan. These are Dylan's brothers. Of course, Dylan's 11, but you have Devin to the left, who's 13, and then Dyson to the right, who's 15. Devin is kind of a, like, all things like Dungeons and Dragons, comic books, Pokemon, card games, board games, all around kind of like, I on purpose made him kind of a nerdy character, because who doesn't love a good solid nerdy character in a series? And then I got Dyson, who I think is going to very much stretch my writing as well as drawing, because Dyson is all sports, everything sports, super duper athletic, but he doesn't let it go to his head. And I think that the thing that Devin and Dyson enjoy doing is, essentially feeling like they have to be Dylan's guide to life. If there's anything that he needs to know, they want to be the geniuses in the room. So it's, and so I can't wait to write more stories with them in it. So that kind of thing. All right. Let me read this. I just read the thing in the chat here. Where do you get your ideas, and how much does the strip change before you publish it? Wow. Okay. So it's a mixture. Excellent question. So Some of my ideas come from, I would say, a lot of inspiration on different TV shows that I've watched or movies I've watched or enjoyed. But ultimately, especially as it relates to like the characters involving siblings and things like that, a lot of my story ideas come from me conceptualizing what it would have been like if I had had this kind of experience as a younger brother, or what kind of experience would have how would what would I have liked middle school to be if I when I was younger, back in the day. And how would I like to basically have lived, and what kind of experiences would I wanted to have. But then also there's the fact of the fact that I've watched so many different like shows, kids shows from like, I grew up on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, but then, watching movies like Diary from a Wimpy Kid, and watching like some of those older kid films from the 90s, and then even watching stuff, now, and pulling from inspiration from some of that. That helped, and that does help. And even my own like personal experiences and taking from those experiences also have helped. I have a sister that I am reminded of when I drew these characters. And thank you so much, Wes. I'm glad you like the brothers. I'm gonna have so much fun drawing these guys. I'm even thinking about, in the far, far, far distant future, maybe doing a spinoff. That depends on how much time I have. I'm always trying to think big, and then I have to remind myself, calm down, Kendall. Give yourself some time. Give yourself some time. This was me doing just kind of a random doodle of Walter, standing next to Dylan, his kind of a different hairdo. I was kind of experimenting with a slightly different hairdo, and they're a little bit shorter here in this, to be perfectly honest. Um, so let's see, how much does the strip change before I publish it? To be honest, it depends on how much I write. So I want to say that I would start sketching the strip, and then after I sketch the strip, well, after I write a little bit of it, I'll sketch the strip, sketch it, and then I'll start, deciding, okay, how much of the posture changes, how much of the look of the characters will change. And really, this picture here that I took from one of my sketchbooks is the perfect example. When I did a story arc with Walter and his dad talking, and I did some sketching and even some writing around some of the notes. Same thing can be said for the last strip that I did, where they're in the locker room. Walter, Dylan, and Ace are in the locker room, and I changed a little bit of just the poses there, even. And so I think it will go through maybe one or two different changes before I start coloring it, and before I start putting together other additional things. I really should try shading, and so I'm really considering that, and considering doing some more shading, that kind of thing. Um, and that's what tends to happen. Um, when I feel like I need some inspiration for my comic, I'll draw my characters, and this is Walter. I think what I was having a feeling of was, it was like, okay, just the boys just kind of hanging out. They're walking, in their neighborhood. But also that pose, that Walter pose, for some reason, I'm a fan of I'm a fan of the TV show Frasier. And I said to myself, what would it look like if like Walter had like this? I don't know why I'm reminded of like the show Frasier, just with Walter's look, like that pose of just, you know, uh, the our next adventure is about to commence. That kind of, I feel like Walter is very top heavy in his thoughts, but he's also still 11. And that's one of the things I really love about my comic, is that it gives me a chance to, let the characters, cut up, trying to sound like they're very, very mature, very adult, but they also there's moments where they're back on Earth. They're still kids. So that's a whole thing. Let's see. I'm just kind of pulling up some other stuff too, and of course, again, whenever I feel like I want to get inspired, I'll draw other stuff like Sonic and stuff like that. Got a comment in the chat. You draw so funny and cute, just naturally. Your characters just come across as fun to be around. That is the goal. And thank you. And thank you so much. I'm so glad that they come across that way because it was one of the things that I was hoping that when people interact with the comic that they actually do feel that way, that they go, wait a minute, I can see myself hanging out every week with these guys. Like that, I already know that it's gonna be a joy for me to either be a audience member of their shenanigans or I'm gonna like enjoy like being on the adventure with them. So this one right here, a while back, I did this for the Baptist Standard, and it was either for an article I wrote or it was for something else. Exactly. Yes. Thank you. And this is how it goes. This is Walter and Anita talking. And of course, I've changed her hairdo so much. I gotta stop. I gotta figure out what to do. So Walter's like, does it make sense to praise the Lord for good grades? I mean, I study and you tutored me, so. And then Anita goes, you should thank the Lord for good grades and study time. And then Walter goes, and for the 5 minutes it took to study before the test. And then Anita's like, let's work on humility next week. So the banter between the two characters, it's meant to kind of like kind of like Calvin and Hobbes. I'm a huge fan of things like Calvin and Hobbes and Big Nate and Peanuts, and I love being able to have those moments where things like faith or things like politics or things like the current events do come up as a conversation. The only thing about like current events, y'all, is like, okay, it exactly what time period do the characters sit, right? Like what exactly is gonna be their time frame, right? Because I've always wondered. I said to myself, okay, are they going to have cell phones? Are they going to have this? Are they going to have that? What's it going to be like? So there's that. Y'all, let's see. It is been on for about. Take a look here. Been on about. I don't see my timestamps on here. It's been about. Oh, okay. It's been almost 40 minutes. All right, y'all. I think that it's about time for me to wrap up. I've been trying to challenge myself to actually get out there and share the YouTube, my YouTube, and to share my work on YouTube, and to really get out there and actually be bold. Um, and thank y'all so much for just being on with me. It means a lot. How often do you plan to do these? That's a really good question. I think what I'm gonna try to do is push to do this at least once a week. I think that's a fair challenge. Once a week should do it. And if I do it once a week here on YouTube and go out there and maybe do different topics, maybe even show y'all a comic strip I'm working on, maybe even work on one live right there. And then it'll go up on Instagram and it'll be just a way of being like, hey, this launches Tuesday. I'll go on the air maybe over the weekend and then it launches Tuesday. That sounds like a really good idea. I may need to write that down. So again, y'all, Wes, Collier, you all, thank y'all so much again, and everyone watching, for supporting me and watching. I know YouTube and doing this kind of thing. Doing this kind of thing is not easy. Even though my background's in journalism, even though I've been on camera before and I've done camera stuff and I still do it, for news and things like that. When you're trying to put yourself out there and you're a little bit vulnerable, it can be challenging, but there's something rewarding about it, and even rather very exciting. Like this right here, I feel good about tonight, so I can't wait. D Collier 8941, it was a pleasure listening to you, bro. Keep killing it. Man, bless you, man. Thank you so much. And thank you to your family, to your kids, and to your wife, and to everyone, and to you, my brother. Thank you, Wes,
My brother, thank you again so much. So here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I can commit to. I'm gonna try to get my schedule and my house in order to try to do these lives at least once a week, and then try to see if maybe I can intermingle that into creating comics live that will go on to my Instagram and to my webtoon and things like that as well. If you haven't yet, please feel free to hit the like button, and also please feel free to subscribe. I'm usually very good at commenting to everyone because, hey, the best part about being a small channel right now is that I don't have a whole million zillion followers and millions of zillions of comments, which means I actually can respond to your comments. Now, ain't that all right? All right, y'all have a good one. Take care. Be blessed, and we will talk later. This concludes the broadcast day. Have a good one, guys, and thank you again. Thank you again. Hey, have a good one, everybody.